Welcome to the club.
So let's talk about one of the biggest books in history, Tolstoy's War and Peace. And I know what you're thinking, that massive page count. But seriously, forget about that for a second. Because at its core, this epic story isn't just about battles and history. It's a really deep, personal search for what it means to live a truly authentic life. A real life. One that's a world away from the empty routines of high society. Okay, let's jump right in with a character named Count Nikolai Rostov. He's young, he's kind of haunted by his failures as a soldier, and he's just desperate for one single perfect moment of glory to prove to himself that he's worth something. And for him, that moment, that proof, is found in the heart-pounding chaos of a traditional Russian wolf hunt. You see, for a guy like Nikolai, life's meaning isn't something you find in a book or sitting around thinking. No, it's visceral. It's all about high-stakes action where you either win or you lose, and there's absolutely no gray area. And out there in the Russian countryside, nothing gets more high stakes than the hunt. What Tolstoy does here is just brilliant. He takes this absolutely chaotic event and breaks it down for us. It all starts with Nikolai, just waiting, praying to God with this passionate and scrupulous feeling just for a chance. And then, bam, the sighting, a huge, old, gray-backed wolf. The chase is a total whirlwind of pounding hooves and snapping jaws, and finally, you get the climax, the moment his own dog, Karai, takes the wolf down. For Nikolai, that single moment is, and Tolstoy writes this, the happiest minute of his life. And here is the key, right? This isn't really about the cruelty of the hunt. It's about clarity. Think about it. His life is a mess of family debts, confusing social rules, the trauma of war. But this violent, primal act, it's simple, it's pure. It gives him a sense of uncomplicated success that he cannot find anywhere else. For just one moment, he's achieved something undeniably real. All right, so let's shift gears completely. We're moving from the adrenaline rush of the hunt to a totally different kind of authenticity. After all that excitement, the Rostovs end up at their eccentric uncle's rustic country home, which is a world away from the fancy ballrooms of Moscow. Tolstoy just plunges us into this world of the senses. The uncle's home, it's not polished or fancy, it's raw and it's real. You can almost smell the apples and tobacco, taste the homemade honey, and hear the soulful music of a simple guitar. This isn't high society. This is the authentic heart of old Russia. So this brings us to Nikolai's sister, Natasha. Now, she's a countess. She was educated by a French governess. She knows all the formal, choreographed dances of high society. So you have to wonder, what could she possibly understand about this simple, earthy world? And yet, when her uncle starts playing a folk song on his 7-string guitar, something just awakens inside her. Tolstoy himself asks this very question. How on earth did she absorb this spirit? And the answer doesn't come in words, it comes in action. She just gets up, strikes a pose, and performs this folk dance with a spirit so perfect, so unteachable, that it moves everyone to tears. This is another kind of real moment. See, it's not about personal glory like Nikolai's hunt was. This is about an authentic connection to our culture, to the very soul of her people. Riding home, the magic of the day is still in the air. They're on a sleigh, gliding through this still, moonlit night, and it feels like they're in a magic kingdom. Nikolai is so swept up by all these authentic experiences that he makes a decision straight from the heart. He turns to his cousin Sonia, who has loved him completely for years, and he decides right then and there that he's going to marry her. In this magical, perfect moment, it feels like the only pure, true, and honorable thing to do. But this authentic feeling is about to crash head-on into the cold, hard facts of life. And this slide just lays out the central conflict of his entire life. On one side, you've got his heart, true love, a promise made on a perfect day. On the other side, you've got reality. His mother reminds him, hey, we're on the brink of financial ruin. His duty isn't to his feelings, it's to his family's survival. He has to marry a wealthy heiress. So his authentic impulse is now in a direct fight with his practical duty. And the whole thing just explodes when his mother calls Sonia an intrigante. Basically, a scheming, social climbing manipulator. That accusation is so vicious that Nikolai just loses it, threatening to marry Sonia in secret. He's being forced to choose the authentic love he feels or the family he has a duty to save. All right, now let's leave the countryside and head to Moscow because we need to talk about our third protagonist, the wealthy, intellectual, and deeply unhappy Pierre Bezukhov. He's also searching for an authentic life, but he's coming at it from a completely different direction. So, while the Rostovs are out there having these raw, real, visceral experiences, Pierre feels like he's completely suffocating in Moscow. For him, high society isn't just boring, it's a spiritual prison. The endless parties feel like a performance. The supposedly enlightened Freemasons care more about their uniforms than they do about virtue, and every conversation feels totally fake. He's trapped in a world that feels fundamentally unreal, a world of lie and confusion. And this, right here, this is Pierre's curse. See, unlike Nikolai, who just acts, Pierre thinks. And he thinks so much that he's basically paralyzed. He's rich enough to do whatever he wants, but he can see the hypocrisy in everything. He wants to find some grand purpose for his life, a philosophy, a cause, but every path he looks down seems built on a lie. He really represents Tolstoy's great question. In a world where history is just this chaotic mess, how can any one person find a single true path? So after all of that, what is Tolstoy trying to show us with these intertwined stories? Well, he doesn't give us one simple answer. Instead, what he does is present multiple and often conflicting paths to finding an authentic life. I mean, we've seen it, right? We've seen Nikolai find it in a moment of glorious, violent action. We've seen Natasha find it in a deep, intuitive connection to her culture. Nikolai tries to find it again through pure, heartfelt love. And then there's Pierre, who struggles to find it through this intellectual and philosophical search. Each path gives us a different glimpse of what it might mean to be truly alive. And all of this leaves us with the novel's great, lingering question. Is an authentic life something you find in those rare, perfect moments of clarity, catching the wolf, feeling the rhythm of the dance? Or is the real life actually found in the messy, ongoing, and often painful struggle to find meaning in the first place? That's the question Tolstoy leaves us to answer for ourselves.